Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. Now, if you've never been with me before, you don't know what it is that I do. I am a love coach specifically for women who want to heal and reconcile after infidelity. You have been cheated on, and it sucks. And there are so many questions, and your nervous system is completely dysregulated, but this is still the person that you love. And you would like to be able to move forward and get to a new chapter with them, get to a place where you can actually trust them again, open up your heart to loving them with all your heart again. This is your person. I understand that other people will tell you that this is not a good idea, but I am here to tell you that I did it myself and it was a good idea. I am 18 years past the last incidents of infidelity, and I have always tried to tell everybody that I encounter that it doesn't have to be throw the man away. It doesn't have to be that if you don't want it to be. You can make this choice. This is your decision. This is your life. This is your happiness we're talking about. So don't listen to what other people have to say. You make the decision. And I am here to tell you how to do it if that's the decision you've made. Okay? So we're going to get started here. Now, the first thing that you need to know always, every time we get together, I'm going to tell you things that you can start to do right now, all on your own, to start the healing process. You've got to get yourself on the healing path. You have to start to walk it. If you would like a copy of my particular healing path, the Dreams Formula, go ahead and put path in the comments. My bots will send you a copy of How to Heal and Reconcile After Infidelity, the 6 steps of the Dreams Formula. We are not going to go over that tonight, but trust me, we'll be coming back to that soon. But if you want to get your hands on it, a tangible path to healing, go ahead and put path in the comments. It is going to lead right to a link to get your copy so that you can start to experiment with it. Go ahead and put yourself out there on the healing path. But these things are going to be things that are going to make that path a lot easier. These things that I'm going to tell you about, because they are all about trying to mitigate the effects of this trauma on your brain. Okay? That is the whole thing. If we can start to calm down some of the nervous system effects, make our brain start acting right again, we can heal a whole lot faster, not having to wait as long to get to that healed place. So, these things that I'm going to tell you are all things that will help with that trauma starting right now, right this minute, okay? Do them along with me. You'll see how they will affect you. If you go ahead and start right now, if you start on this one, doing your deep breathing, this is the very first one. This is the one I'm always going to start with because it's so critical. When you have been traumatized, your body, there's a little part in your brain that's called the amygdala. It's about that big, and it is the worst case scenario portion of your brain. So it is always looking for, oh, this could go wrong. We could be hurt. And then it sends out that signal to get your adrenaline pumping, to initiate the fight or flight sequence. That's autopilot, all right? It's like as soon as that button is pressed, your body goes into autopilot. It starts to kind of freak out. Your heart starts racing. Your head gets tight, your throat gets dry, your stomach drops. All of those things are automatic things that happen as soon as that button gets pushed. So what we need to do is take back control so that the autopilot is not flying anymore. We are the ones flying. And the easiest way to get back in control, to press the button and go ahead and put yourself in the pilot seat, is to do your deep breathing. When you do your deep breathing, you are telling your brain, no, 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 no. We're not getting chased. We're not getting eaten. We are not in any danger right now. It's okay. And then your body will have to believe you because your breathing has changed in accordance with it's okay. All right. So what we do is 4-7-8 breathing. You can do whatever breathing technique you please as long as you do one. I don't care what it is, as long as you're on that 5 times, 5 times a day. Okay. When you do this on a consistent basis, you are constantly telling your brain everything's all right. I am safe. I am okay to be regulated. I am all right to be close to people. Okay. Now we do the 4-7-8. What we're going to do is blow out as much as we possibly can, deflate our lungs. Then we're going to inhale through our noses if we can for a count of 4. Hold that breath for a count of 7 so that your body has a chance to actually use the oxygen that you just breathed in. And then we're going to blow out like we're blowing out an entire cake full of birthday candles for a count of 8. We're going to blow. We're going to make the noise of blowing. Every time you're doing and exhaling, you're trying to calm down, make that noise. You will signal to your brain. It's a trigger to your brain that you are trying to calm down, that you are scanning the horizon and there is nothing there to eat you right now. So you will be okay. You will be safe. So if you're making that noise on a consistent basis, your brain will believe on a consistent basis that you are actually safe. That puts you in a better state of mind, makes you be more in control of your actions, makes the healing a lot easier. All right. And oxygen is good for all healing. I was a nurse for 25 years, and oxygen is good for you if you are healing. If you're trying to heal a wound, if you are doing deep breathing, perfusing all of those tissues with oxygen, it helps. Okay? Bariatric treatments help because of oxygen. All right? So there's a lot of evidence that inhaling, getting good oxygen into your tissues helps you to heal. And this is a physical thing that is happening to you. You think that trauma is that this betrayal trauma is just in your head or in your heart. No, it is a physical thing happening to your body. So we've got to change the physical conditions in order to make it heal. Okay. So we're going to do deep breathing together. Like I said, I want you to do it 5 times, 5 times a day, but we're going to do it together 3 times just for the sake of time. All right. So first things first, you're going to blow out. Make the noise. Inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Beautiful. How does it feel when you do your deep breathing? Let me know, because this is a physical thing that we are trying to do with our bodies. We are trying to make our bodies feel physically different, away from that fight or flight response, away from that heart beating out of your chest, your lungs hurting. We've got to expand our lungs and get fresh oxygen into our blood, and we've got to blow out and contract our lungs in order to get all that excess carbon dioxide out of them. It's a beautiful thing. When you do this on a regular basis, you should feel something different physically happening to you. Put it in the comments. Let me know what it is, okay? The second thing that we're always going to talk about every time we get together, honey, do your journaling. Have you been doing your journaling? I want you to sit down with your journal and take a moment, okay? When you are using your journal on a consistent basis, you are getting those terrible thoughts that are in your brain after a trauma out of your brain and down onto paper. Your brain will trust paper. It will trust pen and paper. It will say, okay, that is permanently physically in the world with her, unless she actually burns that. That's going to be right there in front of her. She's going to be able to pick up those words. She's going to be able to remember this message. So your brain will let go of the repetitive negative thought a lot easier if you write it down. Okay. You need to be doing this on a consistent basis. Everything is consistency. If we are consistent, we will start to heal and we will heal faster. So, consistency is key. We've got to do our journaling at least twice a day. First thing when you wake up, about 5 minutes. Don't make it be something that you dread doing by making it be like an hour-long process. 5 minutes when you first wake up and those negative thoughts start to bubble up in your brain and you start to feel that discomfort, take those thoughts, those ones that have just presented themselves, and write them down in your journal. Tell your unconscious mind, hey, look, I gotta go to work. I gotta go brush my teeth. I gotta get ready to go. So you work on this unconscious, and then I'm gonna go make some money. I'm gonna go handle my job, and then when I get back this afternoon, you can tell me about it, whatever you came up with about these particular thoughts. All right. Giving your brain that assignment helps. Using your journal in order to give your brain an assignment to put this off until later will make you have some breathing room during the day. Now, same thing at night when you're getting ready to go to bed, about 5 minutes right before you're getting ready to go to bed. You've done your whole sleep routine, whatever it is you do. You do your face care, you drink some tea. Sit down with your journal for about 5 minutes and write those thoughts that are nagging at you last thing before you get ready to go to bed. The things that would keep you up, the things that would give you nightmares. Write those things down in your journal. Put them down. Each and every time you are about to go to bed, and tell your brain that, hey, this is where these thoughts lie for tonight. I cannot be playing this over and over again all night long. That's not good for me. That won't keep me safe, brain. So what you need to do is unconscious work on this until the morning, because I got to go to sleep. I got to shut down the computer. The unconscious could be working in the background. That's fine. All right. Give your brain an assignment of what it needs to be doing for you. You're going to do your date, your time, your level of anxiety. Every time you do your journaling, you're going to do the date and time so you know when things happen. If you want to journal in between these two times, in the morning or the afternoon, it will give you more data points. But you can know a lot by what happens in the morning, consistent thoughts come up, the things that you journal consistently in the morning, versus the things that you journal at night. It will give you a pattern. You will know what days things happen. You will know what hours things happen. You will know when, mornings ain't great for me, but at night going to bed, I seem to be all right. You will know those things just writing down in your journal. Your level of anxiety is in order to put a fence around these feelings so they can't get so huge that you feel like they're going to swallow you. You don't want to let these feelings out of a fence. If you let them free and say, oh yeah, you can grow as big as you want to be, they will get Godzilla big. So what we've got to do is say, okay, a 10 is filling me up completely. These feelings have taken over me. So a 0 is no anxiety whatsoever. You are great. All is right with the world. Then there is a 10. A 10, these feelings have filled me up and I am no longer in control of myself. I want to rip my hair out, tear my clothes off, run screaming down the street naked. That is a possibility if those feelings have completely filled you up. Good thing is, if you're sitting down writing at your journal, you have control over yourself, so you are not at a 10. You will be able to redefine how bad it is, how awful the feeling is, by making 10 and absolutely, I don't have control over myself. I am screaming, I'm losing my voice, I am throwing things. I do not have any control over what I am doing right now. You will know, okay, it hasn't gotten that bad yet. It is not a 10, might be an 8. I'm pretty up there, but it's not quite that bad. When you do this at the beginning and the end of each journaling session, right, 0 to 10, and then you do it at the end, 0 to 10, you will see there is always a decrease. If you only take about 5 minutes, if you write for 2 hours, you're probably going to get more elevated. But taking 5 minutes and just writing down what comes to the top of your head quickly, writing it down, getting it down, and then saying, okay, brain, I heard you. I'm letting this go now. A lot of the time, your anxiety level will come down. This is your physical marker of how bad that adrenaline pumping has gotten. So if you can notice that, okay, I was a 7 when I started, but actually I'm down to like a 4.5, 5 now. That is physically regulating your body. That's what you are doing. You are physically making that anxiety come down, getting more in control of yourself as you go. Okay? Get to practicing your journaling. Do this. I promise it will start working almost immediately. Okay. Um, Third thing that we're always going to talk about every time we get together. Um, do your gratitude practice. Make it be every single day. Look, I am so grateful for the internet. I'm grateful for cell phones. I am grateful for red lipstick. I am grateful for jewelry. I am grateful for my king size bed. I am grateful for air conditioning. I am grateful for lighting to make me look good on lives. There's so many things that you could just be grateful for if you just opened yourself up a little bit to think about it. When we are traumatized, this physical thing that's happening to us, it changes what our brains do too. So our brains will say, nothing is okay. Everything is awful. Everything has always been awful. This life has always been miserable, and it's even more miserable now. All right. It will convince you that that is true, and that is not true. You know it's not true. You know that's not real, but it feels real when you've been traumatized and your brain has kicked off with all of these negative thoughts. So we've got to use our gratitude practice to combat those negative thoughts. We've got to tell our brains, no, no, no. Wonderful things exist in this world, and they are still in my reach, and I can still have them. And just because something bad happened doesn't mean that nothing good will ever happen. All right. You've got to get control of that negative feedback loop in your brain. And the easiest way to do it is to find things to be grateful for. Your brain can't argue with grateful. Your brain can argue with you trying to be happy, but it cannot argue with the emotion of, I feel real gratitude that this is a thing in the world. I tell you one thing, this one made me cry the other day. It's so weird to tell my husband about this, but it overwhelmed me with gratitude. They were showing a plant underwater, and you could see the plant giving off bubbles of oxygen. You could actually physically see a plant providing oxygen. It made me cry. I was like, I'm so grateful that's a thing in this world, that the plants around us, and I love a plant. I had a whole porch full of plants. The fact that a plant gives off oxygen and we can actually see it, that is a beautiful thing. I was boohooing. I was just so emotional. I was overcome with it, because the more you practice that gratitude, the more you can feel deeply and strongly about it. And then that starts to push away all of those negative thoughts that everything is bad all the time. Your brain is lying to you. This world is miraculous. You are miraculous. It is beautiful that we are here, even in the worst of our pain. It is a miracle that we are here, that we are on this planet, that we get to live these lives. So, yes, sometimes it hurts, but you got to be grateful for every single day of it, because that's when it gets really good. All right. So, practice your gratitude each and every day. When you do your journaling, that's 5 minutes. Okay. Take another minute and a half and write down 5 things that you're grateful for in the back of your journal. If you do this on a consistent basis, each and every time you do your journaling, you write 3 things that you are grateful for, and you come back at the end of the month, you will be overwhelmed at the amount of things that you have to be grateful for in this life. You will start to see that, oh, okay, yeah, I was in pain, but life is pretty beautiful. Okay. All right. Last thing I'm going to tell you that I always tell you, I need you to stop asking him all those damn questions. That's what we're going to talk about tonight, okay? Because we're going to get a little deeper into it. But the main reason for that is the fact that your brain, when you have been traumatized, it wants to find out information. It wants to collect as much information as it can. Now, it will tell you that the purpose of this information collecting is to keep you safe so that you can go ahead and heal from this. It will tell you that that is not true. It is collecting information as ammunition. It's collecting this information so that if you ever happen to forget that this thing was bad and it felt bad, here's this little nugget of pain to throw back at you. So it makes sure that you never forget about it. Make sure you never move past it, because if you move past it, this could happen to you again. Okay, even if you do move past it, even if you did move past it, this could still happen again. So your brain is trying to give you these excuses to why you should ask all of the questions in the world, and you really shouldn't. Okay. Now, I understand it is a trauma response. It itches. There is something in your brain that's like, I have to ask him this question. Instead of falling for that, okay, before we even get into the rest of it, instead of falling for that, I want you to try these, okay? The and THEAND from the good people at the Skin Deep. This is the Healing Edition deck, but they've got a whole bunch of other decks. Mother and children, long-term relationships. They got a whole bunch, but this one in particular is about healing and reconnecting. These are the questions that will help you to reconnect, that will help you to heal. Okay. Got to ask the appropriate questions to get the appropriate outcome. So instead of the destructive questions that you want to ask him that will hurt your feelings and make you feel like crap, let's try a couple of these. Give you a few of them just to get you started. This is an interesting one. What are you going to take away from this conversation? You think about that. You put that in the comments too. At the end of this, or I want you to let me know, what are you going to take away from this conversation we're having right now? All right. Put it in the comments for me. But this is an excellent question to ask one another. You will understand what they took from it. That is, understanding is like so much a part of communication. People think that communication is just, oh yeah, I tell you what it is and you listen to me, but you got to actually understand, you got to comprehend, you got to use it. You got to actually like apply it day to day for communication to have been effective. So that is an excellent question instead of what positions were you all in? All right. Second one, oh, that's the instructions. Second one says, how do you hope we'll grow together from this point on? Isn't that a much better question? That's the question you really want to ask, isn't it? Isn't that a question that would make you feel like, okay, we're on the same path. We might make it through this together. This is a person who really loves me. Wouldn't this be better? How do you hope we'll grow together from this point on? That's a much better question than the ones you want to ask. And one more. What do I do that makes you feel I understand you? Woo, boy. Oh, what if he says nothing? What if? All right, I know that would make you mad, but I'm saying, what if he's like, I don't feel like you do anything that makes me feel like you understand me? Wouldn't that be an important thing to know? I know that would be a little sensitive, but what if you do not know how to make him feel understood? You might think that you're doing an excellent job at that, but you might not be. All right. I want you to be open to the answers to these questions because you're asking them back and forth. You're not just the only one interrogating using these questions. I want you to be open to the answers. I want you to think about them. I want you to be incorporating them into your everyday life with each other as you're healing, because these are important things. So, what do I do that makes you feel I understand you? Excellent question. So, you've got an idea about what those are. Much easier questions to ask, but we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty about questions tonight. We're gonna talk some serious stuff about these questions, because I have noted that there are some questions that keep coming up, and these questions tend to keep you stuck. You feel like if you get the answer, you'd be able to move forward. You'd be able to close the chapter, be able to just feel more comfortable. But a lot of the time they leave you feeling more stuck because they weren't actually the question you really had. Okay. So why do we ask? Like I told you, after betrayal, our brains become convinced they need more information. And a lot of the time, your brain wants to believe that there is some kind of information that would make this hurt less. That there is something that you could know, some information that you could glean that would tell you, okay, it's okay. It doesn't have to hurt quite so much. All right. So you ask and you ask and you ask. And some questions absolutely need answers. No doubt about that. You need enough truth to understand what happened, make informed decisions, protect your health, um, establish good boundaries, and know what you're actually agreeing to reconcile from. Okay, so you need some of these answers, but eventually the job of the question starts to change. Okay, you're not gathering necessary information anymore. You're trying to create an emotion with the answers to these questions. You want the answer to somehow make you feel safe. There's some word or string of words that will somehow make this hurt less and make you feel more safe. You want to feel loved. You want to feel chosen. You want to feel like you're enough. Oh, good Lord, enough. Um, you want to feel certain. Okay. And that's where the questions can start to keep you stuck. If sometimes you're not looking for information, you're looking for relief. You are looking for the pain to subside. So tonight, instead of just asking, okay, well, what's the answer? I want us to start asking, what am I trying to make this answer do for me? Does that make sense? Put it in the comments. If you got questions, comments, thoughts, complaints, I'm with you. But we're going to go through this kind of quickly. It's about 6 of these, okay? First thing, did he really love her? All right. And on the surface, this sounds like a question about her, right? But what is the answer supposed to give you? If he says no, he didn't really love her, are you hoping that you'll finally feel more loved? Are you hoping that you'll feel chosen? Are you going to feel more secure in what the two of you had? And what if happens if he says, no, I did not love her? Do you believe him? We're in a traumatized state right now. It's very difficult to believe what somebody that hurt you says. So are you going to believe it? Or does your brain immediately say, of course you're saying that now? Of course, when I'm asking you, when I'm looking you in your face and you have to tell me if you love this person, yeah, of course you would say, no, you don't now. So that's important, okay? Because now we've discovered that the question wasn't actually capable of giving you the reassurance that you wanted. Your brain would still say, no, I can't believe that. I can't believe that anyway. So maybe the question is not the question, but the question underneath the question. Maybe the real question is, was I still important to you? Maybe that's what it actually is. That's something we can work with. That is something we can work with. That is something that we can objectively say, he is acting like you're still important versus you're not acting like I'm still important. I know that the cheating itself would suggest, no, you weren't still important, but it goes a little deeper than that. Most of the time, it's not even about your importance anyway. So he may have felt like you were super important the entire time. A lot of the time, that's why they don't want you to find out, because they don't want anything that bad happen to the relationship. So if your brain can't find the security in figuring out what he felt about her, it then tends to go to another strategy. Okay. Then it's like, okay, well, why her? And then we're focusing in on her again. Okay. Number one, that's the first thing. That's a dangerous territory. And this is where comparison starts. Why her? Was she prettier? Did she have bigger boobs? Was she younger? Was she sexier than me? Was she more exciting? Did she give him something that I didn't give him? Except there's an assumption buried inside that question. Okay. You're saying that he chose her because there was something about her worth choosing over you. That's what you're saying when you're comparing. There was something so inherently worthy in her that she was worth cheating with over choosing you. Okay? But what if that's not actually what happened? People cheat for all kinds of reasons involving themselves: validation, opportunity, escape, poor boundaries, impulsive behavior, attention, entitlement. Oh, good Lord. Yeah. Whatever was happening inside them was probably not very positive. We can assume that those feelings, trying to get validated, trying to escape from your life, trying to get attention, usually those are coming from a pretty negative place. I'm feeling bad about myself in myself, so I feel like I need to do something to validate myself to make myself feel better. But your brain wants an explanation that it can control. If you figure out what she had that you didn't, then maybe you can make sure that this never happens again. It all comes back to that safety feeling of I can be safe if I know what it was she had over me. But your brain loves a dramatic explanation for things. Reality is usually a lot messier. It's not super dramatic. It is that some poor person was feeling terrible about themselves and did something that they shouldn't have done because they felt bad about themselves. See, that was all them. That didn't have anything to do with anybody outside. It didn't have anything to do with her. And then sometimes because of that, you end up spending years trying to become better than a woman who was never actually the reason he cheated. Because that reason was inside him, it wasn't inside her. It didn't have anything to do with her, more than likely. More than likely, what happened was something inside him went wrong and made him think that this terrible idea was a good idea. Then you're chasing behind trying to compare to some woman who you can't compare to. We cannot compare to one another. We are all unique individual flowers. We all have our entirely beautiful personalities. We all have our luscious shapes and sizes. You can't compare yourself to another woman. We are all beautiful queens on this planet, okay? You can't just compare yourself to any other woman and think that, oh, I'm going to feel good about myself comparing myself to another woman. It's not going to happen. So you went around for years trying to compare yourself to her, and she was never actually the problem. So when that happens, when you figure that out and you're like, okay, why he picked her didn't make me feel safe, you move on to what? All right. So what exactly did they do? That one feels urgent because your brain says, I need to know what I'm healing from. I need to know the details of what I'm healing from. And initially, yes, you need enough information to understand what happened. To get the good shape of it. But there is a point of diminishing returns with that. Because now you got details. Now your brain has imagery to work with. And suddenly you are lying in bed at 2 a.m. watching a movie you directed with information you demanded. Now you're stuck. You can't stop the loop of playing this movie of the two of them over and over again. You know what she wore. You know where they went. You know what positions they were in. You know what he said. You now know enough to make your brain recreate it, which is horrifying. Ask any woman who has ever been through it, having to play that tape over and over again in your head of something you didn't actually see, but you collected enough details to imagine very well. Okay? Did knowing any of that make you safer? Did that give you any peace, or did it just give you your trauma more material to work with? I think it just gave a little bit more trauma material for you. I think that's what it did. So every detail you collect gives your trauma another scene to play. It gives you scene after scene after scene if you keep on collecting the information. And you do not need a high definition version of the betrayal in order to heal from it. That is unnecessary. We do not have to see it in HD in order to be able to heal. That's too much. We don't have to do that. So, okay, you don't do the what anymore. Sometimes that leads us into trying to make the pain measurable. Now we gotta put some measurements on it. How many times was it? That's the fourth question. How many times was it? Once, twice, 3 times, 20. All right. And yes, the numbers can matter when you're initially establishing like the scope of what happened. But eventually you got to ask yourself, what number am I hoping to hear? What if if you're if he says 3, let's say he says 3, your brain is gonna say, well, 3, he went back to her twice more after the first time. Oh, he must have really felt something for her. He was trying to go right back and spend this time with her again and again. Okay. If he says once, your brain goes, I don't fucking believe you. You're a liar. There is no way you only did it once. If he says 20, it's how could you? How could you do that? You were so desperate for somebody besides me that you had to go see her 20 times. All right. There is no magic number where your nervous system goes, oh, 7. Yeah, that's fine then. There's no number. There is no number. It does not exist. It is not going to help you. At some point, you're not asking because the number changes what you need to do. You're asking because you're hoping that the number will make you change how you feel. Okay? There comes a point where answers stop helping you and they start hurting you. And usually it's when you're trying to use the questions to alter how you feel. So, when the facts still haven't explained it, your brain often turns the investigation towards you. So, the fifth question is, was she prettier than me? Okay? All right. I'm kind of conceited. I think I'm beautiful. I don't think too many women are like prettier than me. I think I'm pretty. But when I was going through this, it kept being, well, yeah, she might be a little prettier than me. Yeah, all right. She's got a little bit better smile than me. Maybe her nose is a little bit better. Her eyes are a different color. All sorts of things. Little comparisons. And this one hurts because now the betrayal becomes a referendum on your worth. Her body versus yours. Her age versus yours. Her sexual abilities versus yours. Her personality versus yours. And you start believing that if you can find a category where she beats you, then you'll finally understand why this happened. All right? But what are you going to do with that information? You're going to sit there, you're going to say, okay, well, yeah, she had bigger boobs than me, so she beat me. Even though you're still together, even though the two of you are still in a relationship right now, she did not beat you. Just because that one thing was different Just because the comparison was big boobs to small boobs, she didn't win over you. But you've got that idea in your brain that yes, she did win something over me. If somebody tells you that she's prettier, are you going to be healed from that? If somebody tells you that you're prettier, you by far, we don't know why in the world he just cheated down like that, does that make the effects of the affair somehow disappear because you were the prettier girl? Neither one of those are going to actually fix the wound. Comparison isn't healing. It's your fear looking for some kind of explanation. If I'm not good enough in some way, where she somehow beat me on something, then okay, this makes sense. And so then you can use that as an explanation, and then your fear can feed off of that. But her existence is not evidence of your inadequacy. Just because she exists, just because she may even be prettier in what you believe is pretty, because there's lots of different standards for pretty. But if you really feel that she's so much prettier than you, that still doesn't make you inadequate. That doesn't mean that your relationship is not worthy. It doesn't mean that you all shouldn't be together. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that she happens to be, in some beauty standards, prettier than you. If you really want to believe that, again, honey, we're not gonna believe that. All right, let's just agree on that. Can we agree on that? She ain't prettier than me. Can we? I would just like you to take that to heart. Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about the other woman when I come back. I gotta go take my son to college next week. So I won't be here with you next week. I got a lot of stuff to do. But we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk in depth about the other woman when I come back. All right. So that's not gonna be next week. That is going to be September the 27th. I'm gonna be back for the Healing Hour Live on September 27th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to talk in so much detail about the other woman. We're going to dive in. So bring your questions about that. You're going to want to participate in that. Anyway, back to the questions. Eventually, after enough versions of these questions, we have to ask the question that nobody really wants to ask. When will I finally know enough? I have talked this week to a client who feels like she can only know enough when this makes sense to her. And I've been telling her all week, I'm like, how could this make sense to you? You would never do this. You would never cheat on him. So how will this ever make sense to you? You're wanting to put that as the goal of knowing enough information to help it make sense in your brain, but it's not something that you would ever think to do, so there's no sense to it for you. That's why each and every answer feels like it's a dead end, because there is no question that finally ends it and makes you feel like you know enough. Maybe the problem isn't that you haven't found the right answer yet. Maybe you're asking an answer to do something that an answer can't do. You want certainty. We talked about that a few weeks ago, about how your trauma wants to be sure. It wants to be certain. Even though you're not certain typically day to day, we're not certain about a lot of things day to day. But on this particular thing, it wants you to be certain. It wants to know. But reconciliation ultimately requires living without absolute certainty. You cannot question him enough to guarantee that he will never hurt you again. That is absolutely impossible. You cannot inspect enough. You can't reconstruct enough. You can't understand the other woman enough. At some point, healing becomes less about, well, what else can I find out? and more about, do I trust myself to handle my life even though I can't know everything? That's grown up behavior right there, because that's everything. Do I trust myself enough to be able to handle my life even though I cannot possibly know everything? We are all out here winging it. Okay? Ask somebody else about adulting. All right? Ask any old body about adulting day to day. It is difficult. You don't always know what you're doing. Okay? Your brain mistakes having that information for healing. It's like, oh, if I got all the answers, then that means I'm healed. You can't question your way into trust. That is inherently uncertainty. I am asking you questions because I do not know, and you can tell me an answer, but I do not know if that is a question, the answer to the question or not. So there is uncertainty inherent in that. So your trust contains uncertainty. When you are offering trust, you are uncertain that you will have a completely faithful partner. You are not sure about that, but you do believe that that is a good possibility for your life. This is what you want for your life. When you're feeling that desperate urge to ask something, I want you to come back to, what am I hoping that this answer will make me feel? If you're trying to get a feeling from the question, you can go down that long, dark path deep into the woods and get absolutely lost and never be seen again, because your brain will never be able to come up with a good enough question to cause you to feel a certain way. Ask yourself, what do I actually need? What am I needing right now? Maybe it's reassurance. Maybe you just need some connection, need some affection, you need some safety. Maybe you need to know what his current boundaries are. Maybe you just need to see some consistent behavior from him today. Now you can ask for what you need instead of interrogating him for information that you're somehow hoping will produce that need. I hope that makes sense. I want you to stop asking for information when what you really need is reassurance. Just ask for the reassurance. You can do that. And I know it feels like you shouldn't have to ask for that. You shouldn't have to ask for the reassurance, but he's not going to know when you're starting to be triggered. So if that is what you are needing in the moment, you need to say out loud, hey, I am having a moment where I'm needing lots of reassurance from you. I need to hear some positive words. I need some hugs, some kisses. I need something from you to show me that you love me. I need that reassurance right now. And if he's willing to give it to you, okay, there you go. That is a time where you reached out in your pain. You trusted that he would do it, and he did it. Now, that's a good mark for him. Okay. You're giving him opportunities to show you that he's worth the trust that you are trying to give him. Okay. So, and I want you to really focus on that. What are you hoping that the answer will make you feel? And because once you know what you're actually looking for, you can stop digging through years of details trying to find it. Healing isn't knowing everything that happened. Healing is reaching a point where you no longer have to have every answer before you can live your life. If you can get to the place where, okay, I do not know, but I am still able to maintain regulation of myself, do what I need to do on a day-to-day basis, and show up with love and compassion to my partner, that's healing. That is, you're doing it. Okay? The question isn't always, what else do I need to know? Sometimes the better question is, who do I need to become from here? Because most of these negative things that happen in our lives as you are adulting, is, you are living your life day to day and bad things happen. You are becoming sharper, stronger, braver, fiercer than you ever were before. So you have to figure out, okay, who do I need to become next? As I face this new challenge, as I deal with this new trauma, what do I need to do to become the person who survived that? What do I need to do to become the goddess on high who is able to survive such a devastating, tragic thing? Okay. So those are my questions. Those are some good questions. All right. I need you to figure out what emotional need you are trying to chase as you are asking these questions. A lot of the time that will make the question go away. But right now, if you have questions, if you are not sure about something, put it in the comments. I want to know what your questions are. If you have a question that you can't stop asking him, maybe we can talk a little bit about exactly why you feel like you can't stop asking that question. Dig a little deeper, figure out what that question is actually meaning for you, and get you to a better place. All right? Let me see. Let me make sure I don't have any questions. Nope, none over here on Facebook. All right, I don't see anything on YouTube. Lovely. All right, Fabo. Okay, we're good. All right, so y'all let me know. You tell me how you feel about today's lesson, how you feel about these questions. Is there one particular question that's keeping you stuck right now? Tell me about it. Let me know. All right, one more thing before I go. I was telling you a little earlier about the things that you can start to do right this minute all by yourself to start to heal this trauma. And I want to tell you one more. All right. Remember, I said that sometimes your brain will start to tell you that the problem is you. All right. When you have that issue, when your brain keeps telling you that, oh, compare yourself to this woman, you are less than in some way. You can start to do your affirmations. When you do your affirmations, you are counteracting that idea that you can be compared to somebody else. You are you. There is a reason that you are in this position that you are in right now, because you needed to grow in this way. This was an amazing opportunity for you to grow. This was not a punishment for you being short or not as pretty as a supermodel or anything. It's not trying to punish you. You are growing, you are learning, you are going to be in a different place than you were before this happened to you. So instead of making yourself feel bad about who you are, all right, I want you to start doing your affirmations. I want you to look yourself in the mirror or in the camera. Look yourself in the eye and say your affirmation like you mean it. Say it like it's the most true thing you've ever said. Say it with conviction. Say it with authority that you know this to be true and you are telling yourself that it is absolutely true. Because then your brain will have a recording of you saying with authority that you're wonderful. And so then anytime your brain starts to mess with you about how you must be less than in some way, shape, or form, you can pull up that reel inside your head of, no, I love myself. I think I'm wonderful. I'm pretty. I am cute. I am sexy. I'm a lot of fun. No, I'm not worried about that. And so then you will have that to back you up instead of just believing all of those negative things that your brain is going to want to say about you. Okay. So you need to be doing your affirmations at least once a day. I'm saying do them all day. I'm saying whenever you catch sight of yourself in the mirror, do your affirmation real quick. I'm saying when you first wake up in the morning, you go brush your teeth, say your affirmation, okay? Before your teeth brushing and after your teeth brushed, okay? Even with the stank mouth, you're still beautiful, wonderful, awesome, Okay? Even that. Right before you get ready to go to bed, as you are closing your eyes, wonderful thoughts about you. Okay? All right. I've got a deck that came from Five Below, but I do have 60 days of affirmations just for women who are trying to heal and reconcile after infidelity. So, if you need affirmations specifically about that, about your worth, about the relationship, about the possibility of healing and connecting again, go ahead and put affirmation in the comments. I got you. Okay. Now, this one says, today I feel healthy. Today my mind is clear, my body is healthy, and my soul is at peace. Ooh, I like that one. I like that one. Say that with conviction. Say it like you mean it. All right. Today I feel healthy. Today my mind is clear, my body is healthy, and my soul is at peace. And I hope that you feel like that very, very soon. Very soon coming up. I hope you feel like your mind and your body and your soul are coming together in alignment. You are feeling like you have got yourself on the healing path and you are not in that excruciating pain that you used to be in. I don't think you deserve it. I know you did not deserve this. I know you did not deserve this trauma to happen to you, but I am so proud of you and love you so much for the idea that you are choosing love anyway. Even through this pain, you still see love as worthwhile. You still see love as a reason to move forward and change your story. And I think that that is so brave. I think that that is one of the things that I'm most grateful for on this planet, that so many of you choose love even in your worst pain. I think that that's amazing, and I am grateful that I get to witness it on a day-to-day basis. I am sorry that you were hurt, but I am so, so proud of you for choosing love and forgiveness and compassion over everything. All right? All right, y'all. That's about it. That's all I got for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. And next week, I'm moving my son into William and Mary. Oh, I can't. Okay, all right. It makes me like flush every time I think about it. I'm like, my baby's going to college. Okay, but we're getting ready to move him in. So I will not be with you next Thursday, but I'll be with you the Thursday after that, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Healing Hour Live. Mwah! Love you so much, and I'll see you then.